Well, the Army interrogation, I'll call it an interrogation manual, that was that hit the internet today. The original story by Paul Joseph Watson is a pretty incredible document. I'm reading the history of this, where it was originally written in 2007, then again in 2008, and then just slightly improved in 2009. Now, in the middle of the flowery language about taking care of people and feeding people, it has a few holes in it. It has this reference to one of the most frightening words in this is detainee. It creates a class of subhuman with no rights at all that aren't covered by the Geneva Convention, and they are officially created. Now, the U.S. has prisons all over the world. There are a couple of issues that just aren't acceptable. We have one in Poland that's 20 square miles. No one knows who's in it. It's never been visited by the Red Cross. It could have 100,000 people in it. It could have 1 million people in it. No one can get in. No one's ever been in it. We have prisons in Bulgaria. We send prisoners to Egypt. Our largest partner in our rendition program was Colonel Gaddafi. He sent 40,000 prisoners through Libya into U.S. interrogation and custody. We have no laws that cover any of this. We have prisons in places like Bagram Air Force Base, where Dr. Afia, who was kidnapped off the streets of Karachi, was sold by kidnappers with her children, kept for 5 years on a U.S. air base, tortured, and then put in an American prison through a legal process that no one in the world would respect. This document very clearly, and this is according to the distribution on this document, it is not a public document. It's only to go to U.S. Contractors and personnel, but it is online. And so we can talk about it freely. It's already been released. It's in the public sector. Covers such things as massive detention of personnel in enemy countries or hostile countries, whatever those are. Massive detention of personnel, re-education camps, which sounds to me like the North Koreans, but very much like this. Has a few paragraphs covering human rights, but it is clearly written by people within the U.S. Army who have utterly and absolutely lost their minds. And I'd like them to take a new look at this, what they've done. I'd like to think that there are extreme inconsistencies in this article between what it says and the promises that President Obama has made. The other point here, of course, is that the rights that this manual takes away seem to cover the people inside the United States also. It's an elimination of due process, and as President Putin has brought up more than once, the U.S. has assumed that it can travel to any country in the world and take any person off the street it wishes, imprison them for as long as they want, subject them to a trial, what we call a trial or a military tribunal, and execute or incarcerate for life without anything resembling due process, a clear violation of UN conventions, a clear violation of the Geneva Convention. No nation has the right to go anywhere in the world and take anyone they want. And the other reality, of course, is this idea of the war on terror. One of the things that those of us who I believe are tied to reality came to understand is that the war on terror and Al-Qaeda was largely a psychological invention, an excuse for the U.S. to seize resources, to go into the drug business in Afghanistan, to seize oil, to invade countries, that most of these terror incidents, like we had the just a couple of days ago are staged car bombings, all of the terror incidents, the ones in Cameroon last week. We tracked down to French intelligence that international terrorism does exist, but it is stimulated as a business. It is now perhaps the most profitable business in the world. The U.S. is making billions on it. Israel is making billions. Britain, country after country. The only growth industry is terrorism, and of course the only way we cause terrorism is by persecuting people, stealing their land, invading their countries, stealing their resources, and if they fight back, they're enemy combatants and terrorists. And then we create a document in order to deal with them so they can be detained and re-educated for their entire life. This is, can we call it Orwellian, draconian? It's utterly insane.